What's going on, winners? Your boy Loso 2.0, and today I have another special guest here, a coach, life insurance. We're gonna talk about all of it today. I'm introducing you guys to Brian Elam. Elam. I don't want to say it wrong.
That's okay, man. Most people do get it wrong. It's all good. It's actually pronounced Elam.
Elam.
Like, yeah,
Okay.
like if the A was a U, I don't know why, but that's how it is.
No, I appreciate it. So, we're bringing some stuff here. I kind of want to first start with, I seen that, you were a life insurance agent in your bio. So, how long have you been doing that and how'd you get started in that?
Very good question. So I've been in the financial side of the life insurance space for almost 2 years now. And
Mm-hmm.
what got me into that was actually the vocalist in my band. He works for an IMO, which is an insurance marketing organization.
Okay.
And he was telling me that they had an opening there to get into that industry, do appointment setting for other closers that are there to help bring agents in.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was working as a massage therapist, and I had been doing that for 10 years. And my body was starting to tell me, hey, it's time to start thinking about doing something else. We can't
Yeah.
do this much longer,
Mm-hmm.
because I was in it not for the fluff. I was doing deeper therapeutic work, like really helping people get out of pain. But it
Mm-hmm.
also puts you in pain too, doing that. So the timing was just impeccable. It's like when you make a decision to do something, when you have
Mm-hmm.
finally said, this is the direction I'm going, I am done with this, I'm going to do something else. When you make that decision, the universe opens up. It
Mm-hmm.
gives you a pathway. And that's exactly what happened. It wasn't 2 weeks after I made that decision that I was done with massage therapy that this opportunity presented itself. And it's been an eye opening, mind blowing journey ever
Mm-hmm.
since.
Yeah, no, that's lovely, man. It's funny actually. Glad that I ran into you. So my father-in-law, he actually is a real estate agent, a real estate broker. And he was telling me how like a lot of real estate agents and brokers are moving from the real estate industry and going over into the life insurance. Pretty much that industry. Have you been seeing that too as well happen a lot? Like a lot of people joining in.
You know, there is some crossover, but in my what I've seen so far is a lot of networking.
Yeah.
People that are out there engaging with the community, like realtors, real estate
Mhm.
agents, they have a beat, just like an insurance
Yeah.
person does. We have a beat on what's going on in the community. And so there's a lot of crossover business that can be done. If a new family's moving into a home, they're younger, maybe they don't have any kind of life insurance in place, but they've got this big old mortgage. Well, you can do something called mortgage protection in order to help them
Mhm.
put that insurance policy in place so that if, God forbid, something happens to the husband, the wife, that mortgage is taken care of.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, to answer your question, I haven't seen a lot of transition from real estate into insurance. I have no doubt that it's happening, but most what I see is that networking and collaboration.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And that makes sense. I was also reading Tony Robbins books. He's big into like finances and stuff like that. He was talking about the idea of having a life insurance like policy. And I never, at least growing up, I never seen the need to have it. But then it's like I'm hearing more and more like wealthy people talking about they have like some type of policy and stuff like that. Like how is that setting them up for, being rich, now, I guess. You know what I mean?
I absolutely love that question. I'm so glad you asked because you're right. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about what life insurance is and what life insurance can do. So the
Mm-hmm.
life insurance products of today, they're not like the ones that your grandfather, great grandfather had, where that your family only sees the benefit from that life insurance after great granddad or granddad passes
Yeah.
away. The
Mm-hmm.
life insurance today has what's known as living benefits. Now, what that means specifically when we're talking about guys like Tony Robbins giving financial advice and the rest of the wealthy people that are employing life insurance as part of their portfolio. So what they're doing is they are using what's known as a whole life policy. And
Hmm.
those whole life policies, what they allow you to do is not only have a death benefit that benefits the family whenever you pass away, but it builds cash value inside of that policy that you can actually borrow against at a ridiculously low interest rate. So this is one of the ways that people that are into entrepreneurship, they will finance their entrepreneurship journey by becoming their own bank.
Hmm.
And that's, I believe, what specifically the Tony is talking about. And the good thing is you don't have to be a wealthy one percenter. Your last name doesn't have to be Rockefeller in order to access these policies, right? You
Hmm.
can do it starting off with something as small as like investing, $500 a month. And
Hmm.
I know for some people that might be not a thing they can do right now.
Hmm.
But if you're in that instance where you can maybe reallocate some money that you're, spending and throwing on debt, you can
Hmm.
reallocate some money that you're putting, maybe you're maxing out your 401k and you're able to
Yeah.
just put that into the insurance policy. And what you're doing is you're building that cash value and you're letting the compound interest go to work for you
Hmm.
versus going to work for the credit card companies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do know what you mean. Wow, that is actually really, informative. I was so confused. I was thinking exactly what you were saying before, that it had to be, wait, when I'm dead, am I gonna, I mean, I do want to take care of my family, but I'm saying why invest in it now to try to, but that actually does make a lot of sense though. That definitely does make a lot of sense. And is that what your business, like the wealth consulting, is that what that wealthy consultant, is that's what that goes into?
100%. So with being an insurance agent, a life insurance agent, I have different options and a bunch of different companies that are,
Mm-hmm.
have been in business for 100 years, 50 years plus. The
Mm-hmm.
financial strength behind the insurance companies is basically unparalleled. When you see
Yeah.
these big crashes that have come throughout our history, some of the banks go down and you don't see them anymore, but the
Sure.
insurance companies somehow they stick around.
Yeah.
So you have this financial stability behind you in the products that I have the ability to select from. And the whole purpose of wealthy consulting is around one concept of prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that in order to truly have prosperity, the relationship that I have with my clients and any entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur listening to this, make sure that you take this in. The relationship that you have between yourself and your clients cannot be transactional. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be prosperous. Now, what I mean by that is let's say that I sell a widget, right? I make these widgets, I sell them to you, and you buy it. Well, I make a profit, you get said widget. Now, maybe that helps improve your life and makes you more prosperous. Maybe it doesn't, but I don't know. Now, if I, as a life insurance agent at my company, Wealthy Consulting, if I sell you a cash value life policy that allows you to grow that cash value, borrow against it, income tax free, by the way, and grow your business by leveraging your own wealth versus borrowing from the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not only do I make a profit, but you prosper as well because you now have a financial asset that you can use at your discretion and build to the moon if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's prosperity. And it goes right into my tagline of good people deserve lots of money.
Mm. Yeah, no, I love exactly what you're saying too, as well. Like not making it just simply transactional, and that's just so I do sales too as well. And just making sure that like people that trust, they buy from people that they trust and they like, but you actually have to build that relationship with the client or the customer, something like that too as well. So it make it long term because then they're more than a customer. They start becoming your affiliates. They start referring people to you as well, and that sets a strong foundation for your business. Do you
You're
agree?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. You cannot have a prospering business without having people that will talk about you and refer you in a positive light.
For sure.
100%.
For sure. I do like all that stuff. And I'm glad you said life insurance. That my father-in-law jumped into a friend of mine also just got done taking his it was like some type of test. Like, what's the process to become a life insurance agent?
So basically, what I did is I signed up through a service called Kaplan. They have a bunch of financial online education suites and courses. And
Mm-hmm.
so I signed up through them to take the training. And it's a self-paced training. There were a couple live classes that I took just to kind of
Mm-hmm.
capstone it all together. Um, but that process took me about, I would say, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I spent really immersing myself in the material, learning how everything works. And then what you do is you go to you have a choice. You can go to an online location and do the test that's monitored, or you can go to a live in-person testing location that's monitored, because they want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure, this is a very highly regulated industry by
Sure.
not only the state, by the federal government. So they want to make sure that you are not cheating when you take this
Mm-hmm.
test and that you know what you're doing. So number one, if you have any kind of reservations about working with a life insurance agent, as far as, do they know their stuff? Are they monitored? Are they regulated? They are highly regulated. So you can set those concerns aside. So you go, you take the test. Fortunately, because I went through Kaplan, and by the way, I'm not sponsoring Kaplan or not sponsored by them at all. I'm just telling my story here.
Yeah.
They helped me pass it in the first round, which I spoke to one of the guys over at the testing facility, and he said, "Yeah, you're in the 30% of
Mm-hmm.
people that pass this thing the first time. Most people don't." Which made me feel pretty good. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I must actually know what I'm doing now, right?
Sure, for sure.
And then once you pass the test, then you have to get fingerprinted. You have to go through a background check. Then
Mm-hmm.
you have to submit all of your documentation to the state. They have to approve your license. And then
Mm-hmm.
once that happens, then you can get yourself affiliated with either a captive agency, something like Farmers Insurance, or
Yeah.
you can go independent and get yourself hooked up with an IMO, like where I am, and
Mm-hmm.
then get access to all the different carriers, like Nationwide and F&G and all of those people that have these incredible products that can help so many people.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so it sounds similar to kind of like getting signed for be a real estate agent. You kind of got to go through, do the course self-paced, then you go take a quick test and all that stuff too as well. And then you can go to like either, a broker or whatever. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense too as well. I like what I see right there in the background too, HTC high ticket closer. I was in high income copywriting with Dan Locke. How was your experience with the HTC program?
Oh man, that was totally eye-opening. That was actually the start of my journey
Okay.
into entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I was thinking that I was kind of feeling stuck in my career. I knew that I didn't want to work for quote unquote the man for the rest of
Mm-hmm.
my life, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then again, when you make the decision, the universe shows up. And then I got exposed to Dan Locke. I actually started seeing his stuff because he has martial arts content.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
yeah,
seen that.
because he's a big Wing Chun practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm also a martial artist. I do Silam Kung Fu. And so
Oh,
I started seeing his content, and then I started seeing more of it. And then it kind of started morphing into the high ticket closer stuff. I'm like, I'm going to check this guy out. And
mm-hmm.
it was an incredible journey. It was very eye opening. And the most that I got out of it, the biggest thing that I got out of it was a mindset shift to,
Yes.
to get out of this lack and limited mentality that I was in. I didn't even know I was in, but I was. And exposing me to that and opening up this other realm of reality, that there
Mm-hmm.
is no such thing as lack. There is no such thing as, if I have this, you can't have that because there's not enough. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't exist.
Yes.
That was the biggest and the thing that I'm most grateful for from that program. And the,
Yeah.
the ability to speak with people and bring value and bring, a different perspective on
Sure.
what's going on with business, with their life, what have you, in a way that's not pushy, salesy, all of those things people don't like.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely agree because I actually took his program at the beginning of my entrepreneur journey too, as well. I mean, mine's a little bit different. I didn't even start my career yet. I just graduated college, but I was like, I'm just going to check this guy out. So I just, when I was door dashing, saving some money, paid for the program. And then I was just like, not even the mindset shift of, and it made me do another one too, because I was thinking, oh, you know what, since I'm paying for this, that means I'm just good now. But it made you think like that was my first program or doing anything like that, that you just seen that like, yo, they're gonna give you the information, but you still have to put in the work too as well. It's not like a one-way thing. I just paid for this, so now I'm automatically a millionaire. And like, but it definitely helped me get that shift of like you have to put in the work that they're giving you it, they're gonna walk you there, but you gotta actually put in the work too as well. So that was like the shift that I personally received from Dan Locke. Are you still like into like his programs too as well?
I am not. I've
Mhm.
transitioned out of being a high ticket closer, that kind of mentality. Some of his methods and tactics I don't particularly agree with anymore.
Mhm.
Not that they're bad, not that I'm saying
Yeah,
anything negative about Dan Locke. If you're considering part of his teachings, I would say
yeah.
go for it. But no, I'm not in his programs anymore. I've gone through, like you said, it was the start of a
Yes,
journey,
it's
just
far.
like
That's
it
all it
was
is.
for you. So I've
Yeah.
been through I've been through a lot of other programs and trainings since then to just expand my knowledge, my ability to reach and help people. And so yeah, it's a journey and it's a lot of fun.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And it gets you over that mindset hump of like, oh, I'm about to just consume all this free material and think I'm about to be the richest person. No, you have to. Alex Ramonzi, he said when for him to make his first million, he had to pay 100K. To make his first 10 million, he had to spend a million. So you got to put your money, you got to invest it into yourself. That's really what it is. Just investment into yourself. Um,
Absolutely.
so you said you do kung fu, and then I see you in a band. You play the drums. How long you been playing the drums for?
So I've been playing drums for what is it now? Like 31 years.
31 years. I thought you were like 31. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm blessed with some good genes. I'll say that. Well, I started playing drums when I was 13 years old. I got my first kit as my eighth grade graduation present, and it's been well, it was a passion way even before I got the kit, but it's
Yeah.
definitely been a passion ever since. And I've been in bands playing gigs just ever since then.
Is it hard to play? I mean, I was gonna. So when I was a kid, I wanted to play the drums, but then my sister she was like messing with me, so she told my dad, "Oh, all the guys they play the flute." So my dad bought the flute, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was in the band playing the flute with all the girls. I mean, it worked out for me in a way, but it was just like, is it like hard to play the drums or?
It is kind of tough, yeah, especially if you don't have that innately in you. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can watch a kid and watch him like bang around on stuff and you can tell like does this kid have any rhythm or not? And if he does, chances are that he'll be able to at least do something on the drums if he's ever interested or she's ever interested in learning them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely not easy. It takes obviously coordination. Your four limbs are each doing something kind of different as
Mm-hmm.
you're playing, which not a lot of people have the ability to do.
Mm-hmm.
And even myself, at the beginning, I didn't think I sucked that bad, but God bless my parents for putting up with me as I, got better and better with all that
Yeah.
practice.
No, for sure. Have you ever had any like success stories or playing at like big gigs? Like you said you're in a band, so you guys actually play at like shows and stuff too as well, or?
We do. We go out and play at shows. I have in my past, I have opened up for numerous national acts of different
Mhm.
genres. Um, I've obviously we've played around plenty of local bars and things like
Mhm.
that. In my journey, I've recorded what is it now, like three EPs, two full length albums. And now with my current band, what we're doing is we're basically just going the streaming model and we're releasing on, Spotify, iTunes, and all of that
Mhm.
just as we come out and record new music.
Dang, yeah, man, being a musician is tough. I feel like I'm be honest. I've never been musically anything with the arts. I could never draw, I could never sing, dance, anything like that. So yeah, I think it takes like a whole nother type of like animal just to be able to do that type of thing.
It does. And it just goes to the point that, we need each other,
Hmm.
because no one person can do it all. So we need each other to have
Hmm.
music, to have art, to have that inspiration that we can look at or listen to that drives us to do whatever it is that we're passionate about.
For sure, for sure. 100% agree. 100% agree on that one. So, I was looking at kind of like a couple of your podcasts and stuff. I seen a couple of things on there. The Dream Biz Coaching, that was your mission to like interview 100 coaches and just like get them on your podcast. Was that what that mission was?
So the mission with the 100 coaches mission, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of shocked that you found that, because that was like 2 years ago or something. But anyways,
Do
so
my
what
research
that
a little bit.
yeah, you do. I can You do good. You do good. Um, so what that was is it was a way to build connection. It was a way to
Hmm.
build relationship. Because for a while I was doing entrepreneurship coaching,
Hmm.
and I had this idea of, just like we were talking about before, building that relationship is so important to have a successful business. So let me reach out to these other coaches and just
Hmm.
hear them out. Let me interview them, talk with them, and so they can just tell me with no pressure. I'm not even going to mention my coaching programs at
Hmm.
all. Let's just talk. Like, what are you struggling with? What do you
Hmm.
need in order to be successful? What have you done that's worked? And I just wanted to put that project together in order to build those relationships and build that goodwill in the community. And if you do that, you build that goodwill within the community, then your business will prosper.
Hmm.
And so that was the idea behind that 100 coaches project.
Mm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense too. And it also gives you kind of like different perspectives on that, something that you may look at and, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way. And I like the idea of, and I love doing interview stuff because it's like you said, it's kind of like it works. It's like a relationship building type of thing. You know what I mean? Like I love doing it, meeting new people. It's like a form of networking now that COVID kind of pushed us over into Zoom and all that stuff too as well.
Right, absolutely. And I love doing interviews too, and as I'm sure you found, my channel, my YouTube channel, I
Hmm.
interview a lot of other successful entrepreneurs, not just in the coaching space.
Hmm.
I have a segment on my podcast called the Be Successful series, and that is where I do basically what you're doing right now, is interviewing other entrepreneurs, picking their brains, seeing what's going on, and also helping them promote. Like if they have something that is happening or something new coming out that they're pushing, I want to help promote them because I want to lift these people up too. So yeah, that's the podcast, the interview side of what I do.
Yeah, yeah. You give out. It's like so much value that it's like it always comes back. I'm a big believer in it coming back. And is that like how you kind of got into that like interviewing coaches that you were able to speak? It was a thought leader virtual summit too as well. Is that how you connected into that or?
Yes, yes, it is. Being involved in that coaching space, that was how I was able to speak at that virtual event and do that talk, which was very cool. I enjoyed it immensely, being able to have a platform that's a little bit different than a podcast,
Mhm.
and just go through that, speak, get my story out and inspire someone. So yeah, that was a very cool thing that came out of being involved in that coaching community.
Okay, so that was your first summit speaking first time speaking at a summit, and like how was your full like experience with it? Were you nervous a little bit or?
I was a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie. You know, I did make a mistake in my speech that I had memorized, but nobody knew it. That's the most important thing. Nobody knew it.
Oh, for sure.
And, I was able to relax as I got into it. I was able to have fun, connect with people, got a little
Mhm.
bit emotional at one point, and there was a lot of clapping, a lot of likes and hearts and all of that after I was done speaking, which always makes you feel good. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was a positive experience, definitely.
Okay, okay. So I do have a question for you too as well. So like, a lot of times I feel like successful entrepreneurs is always some like kind of like a moment that was just like you know what, I just need to do this right now. What was your moment that just kind of like made you shift over to push you into the realm of entrepreneurship as opposed to just, hey, I'm just going to work for the rest of my life?
That's a great question. I love that question. And I remember exactly what it was. I was
Mm-hmm.
sitting in class studying to become a massage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the things that I was learning about how the body works and how we heal ourselves if we just get out of our own way and let it happen and take the proactive measures. It was just mind blowing. It was another one of those mind blowing moments, just like when I went through the insurance testing and education and all of that. The massage therapy and the way that we heal ourselves was just incredible. And at the time I was doing this, as my mind was exploding, I was like, you know what? I am not a dumb person. Like, I'm a fairly smart guy. And
Mm-hmm.
if I didn't know that all of this stuff existed, how much does the average person not know about their own bodies and how they can heal? And that was the impetus to Chi to Spare, which
Mm-hmm.
was basically was supposed to be it was supposed to be the Angie's list of natural healthcare providers.
Okay.
And I loved that. I ran with that idea blindly right into the forest. I had no idea what I was doing as an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur, but I learned how to build a website. I learned how to make content. I learned how to start a Facebook page. I learned, affiliate marketing, paid ads. I learned all of this stuff on my own and put it out there, and it flopped. It flopped pretty hard. And, you know, I took those lumps and I learned a lot of lessons through that. And that's the point, when you're in the entrepreneurship space and you're just starting out, you're going to have a lot of quote unquote failures. But in reality, and I hope that, if you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to this, you really take this in. There is no such thing as failure if you learn the lesson and keep moving forward. You only fail when you quit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that spark, that first initial spark that got me into entrepreneurship, is the idea of, if I don't know this, how many other people don't, and how do I help them?
Mm-hmm. I love it, man. That right there gave me made the hair on the back of my neck rise. That was a great a great answer to that question, man. So honestly, man, I asked you pretty much a lot of questions here today. You gave a lot of knowledge. I definitely appreciate all that. How do people connect with you?
Well, the easiest way to connect with me is, I'm on Facebook, Brian Elam. You can just search me on there. There's a few other Brian Elams floating around, but if you remember my face from this show, you'll see me. I'm also on LinkedIn, Brian P. Elam on
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn. And if you want to, and look, if you're thinking that you want to start building and protecting your generational wealth for you, your family, or even if you're at the end of your working life and you're retired and you're thinking, I don't want all of my retirement portfolio exposed to the volatility of the market. I want protection from that. I want to know guaranteed what I'm going to get from a portion of my portfolio every single month for the rest of my life. So if any of that pertains to you, shoot me an email. Just shoot me an email. It's brian@wealthy.consulting.
Mm-hmm.
Brian@wealthy.consulting. That is my email. It goes directly to me, my phone. I will see it. And let's just have a conversation. Again, just like the 100 Coaches Project. No
Mm-hmm.
pressure. I'm not
Yeah.
going to try to sell you anything. All
Yep.
I want to do is listen to you and your goals. And then if I can help you, then I will offer to help you, not sell you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time out today, Brian. I appreciate it, man. This is great. This is going to be great right here.
Absolutely, Carlos. It was a real pleasure being on your show. And thank you, truly, thank you for the opportunity to be here and connect with you and your community. And I hope that I was able to give some value to them today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, with that being said, man, you guys already know Winners win, losers lose, and you guys pray for success like this. I'll talk to you guys.